Okay. Okay, so it looks like my microphone, looks like the mic audio is picking up well. Man, after the last stream, hey Neozoic, how's it going, bud? After my last stream I did, I was solely relying on the audio from my webcam, and that was a mistake. Because I went back and I watched that stream, and holy shit, the audio was atrocious. So, Candlestick, hey man, what's up? Man, I'm glad you guys, wow, I'm glad you guys were so quick to join. I appreciate your vigilance. So, how have you guys been? Boy, let me tell you, the last 2 weeks were not fun for me because I was sick with a nasty ass cough. My nose was just running a constant marathon, had super low energy, didn't even go to the gym, none of that shit. It sucked. But I'm mostly over that now. Hope you guys haven't been similarly sick. Doing fine. Glad to hear it. So, glad you're better. Thank you very much. So, the goal of this stream, I would like to mainly talk about the Predator video, since I released that video a couple weeks ago, so I would be interested to hear all of your thoughts on it. I mean, if any of you have actually gotten around to watching it yet. Glad you feel better. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I really do. Still dealing with rather low energy, but I have actually I do have another sort of short video project in the works that I'm writing the script for. It's not going to be anywhere near the same length. It's going to be pretty brief. It's just going to be a short, fun little movie review. I think you guys will get a kick out of it. It's going to be sort of in the vein of kind of the old B-movie theater videos I did years ago. It's going to be kind of similar to that, because it's a review of kind of an old B-movie type thing. Great Predator video. Do you think Ben 10 can turn into a Predator? Has that not happened? I haven't actually seen any of Ben 10, so I have no idea. It wouldn't surprise me if there was like an alien creature on Ben 10 that was inspired by the Predator. I'm sorry to disappoint. I'm not an AVP guy, so I don't know what I could contribute to the discussion. I mean, did you watch the video at least? I mean, if you didn't, that's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna boot you out if you haven't seen it. I mean, just any thoughts regarding it, I would appreciate. Enjoyed it? Thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Let me tell you guys something. That video was quite an endeavor. I think I spent 4-5 months working on it. Probably be a while before I do a project of that size and scope again. Especially since I'm still writing my fantasy book, which I've unfortunately sort of run into a bit of writer's block regarding that book. I'm trying desperately to reinvigorate my inspiration and stuff. Do you like Predator or Alien better? I love both. I think both are very I think both are really cool, unique characters. I guess if I had to pick, I'd probably go with Predator. I do love Alien though, don't get me wrong. But Predator is kind of special to me because I kind of discovered that film all on my own. Because my parents recommended Alien to me because my dad actually saw the original Alien film when it first came out back in 1979. So he kind of introduced me to it. There was actually a time where my first exposure to Predator was through the Aliens vs. Predator PC games. And at the time, I didn't actually know that those were based on the movies. I didn't know the aliens in those games were the aliens from the Alien movies. And I thought Predator was just like a video game only character. Like I think it was around the time that first AVP movie came out that I actually learned that Predator originated as a movie. So I was really curious about that, and I sought out that original Predator film, and I fell in love with it. I like that you brought up about Predator having elements of human history, such as the helmet nuclear. Yeah, not like typical SJW or annoying Predator analysis videos. Yeah, one thing I have seen, a very commonly reoccurring theme with a lot of videos that analyze the original film, is that they just talk endlessly about, oh my god, look at how overtly masculine all the main characters are. It's like a parody of like masculinity and like machismo and shit, and that shit has gotten old. It's so lame, and it's so shallow and so vapid. There's so much more to that original film than just that. And even so, I don't think it's mainly about masculinity. I do think that the movie was sort of a deconstruction of sort of 80s style, sort of one-man army, Rambo-style action movies, but even then, it was more concerned with sort of being just a sci-fi thriller that took itself pretty seriously. There's not very many scenes you can point to in the original film that are all about like satirizing action films and like masculinity. I think the only example is like the scene where all the main guys are just like unloading their fucking guns into the forest and just destroying all those trees and foliage. I mean, McTiernan himself said in the commentary that was clearly meant as like a satire on like the overt gung-ho nature of the military. But beyond that, there's fucking not very many examples of that type of satire throughout the film. So I think people exaggerate the shit out of those themes a lot. I saw some of the video and I admire your application in filmmaking. AVP has elements that appeal to me, but for some reason just hasn't caught on with me. When you say AVP, you're talking about like the Alien and Predator franchises or the AVP movies? I'm sorry, I'm a little bit unclear on that. How long does it take for a xenomorph to build a hive? Honestly, I don't think any of the Alien films have made that super clear because in like the director's cut of the original Ridley Scott film, there's a scene where Ripley encounters like this sort of chamber where there's all this sort of organic material on the wall, and she sees Dallas and Brett sort of encased in it. And like the original Alien film takes place over the course of like a day. But then again, that was a relatively small sort of hive type area, whereas in Aliens, the time between like the xenomorph outbreak at Hadley's Hope and the time between like when the Marines and Ripley arrive there, I think the movie, what does the movie say? It's like 6 months or something? Something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the canon pretty much states that xenomorphs can make little sort of fleshy, ribby, disgusting, resin-like habitats like that in a pretty short amount of time. I know a lot of the comic books and video games definitely sort of reinforce that as well. What is my critique on Predator 2? I love Predator 2, personally. I think Predator 2 is super, super underrated. I think that I think it's probably one of the most overlooked, underrated movie sequels ever. If I'm being completely honest, I love the atmosphere and the setting in that film. It's got kind of this really cool, sort of colorful film noir, like it came out sort of around the time as films like the very first Tim Burton Batman film and the original Ninja Turtles film, and I feel like it definitely sticks with that sort of colorful comic booky Art Deco noir aesthetic that I think you see in like that old Dick Tracy film as well. I think it very much has like that sort of set design and look to it. So I really love that about Predator 2. I love the look of it. I love the characters too. I think Danny Glover is fucking badass in it. Bill Paxton, that Hispanic lady, what was the actress's name? Maria Conchita Alonso. Gary Busey's awesome in it. The lions, the tigers, the bears. Oh my! He has so many awesome lines in it. And the Predator in that film is also probably my favorite Predator in the whole franchise, the City Hunter. I love that Predator's design, like the design of his armor, the design of its face. The score in Predator 2 is awesome as well. I would dare say the score in the second movie is actually better than the score in the original film. Okay, I tried watching some of the original Predator in preparation of your video, and I have to ask, how is the movie a parody of masculine? I don't know, dude. I don't parrot that whole point. Some of the video essays I see, they sort of they try to say that the Predator like specifically hunts and kills the main characters because they are sort of overtly masculine with really flimsy reasoning, because you also have to bear in mind that there's a woman in the film too, and there's points to where, like, it's pretty clear that if she showed herself to be dangerous and she had a weapon, the Predator would probably hunt her too. So it's a lot of stupid, just sort of gender politics bullshit that they just try to cram into that film. Which Predator movie was worse? Predators, The Predator, or Prey? Out of all those, I would say The Predator. Predators, I have super mixed feelings about Predators. I think it has some really good stuff in it, but there's a lot of really dumb, bad stuff as well. Prey, I did not like Prey at all, which is kind of an unpopular opinion, because I know a lot of people who really enjoyed Prey, thought it was really good, and that's fine. It did not appeal to me at all. Did the Yautja develop their own tech? Yeah, I believe they did. I think in a lot of stories, yeah, the Yautja do sort of develop their own technology. But yeah, the reason why I would say The Predator is because of the fact that I feel like The Predator was simply... The thing about Prey and Predators is that their main issues are script ones. The Predator has very blatant editing, directing, and in some cases even cinematography foibles. There's way more wrong with that film than just the script. The way it's made is just abysmal. The visual effects look bad. The editing, oh my god, the editing is atrocious in The Predator. And a lot of that is due to the fact that a big portion of the film was reshot. And when you watch it, you can tell. Because there are like major characters who kind of have super quick anticlimactic deaths. Like that one guy, he freaking just blasts his own head off with like a Predator shoulder cannon that he equips himself. It's just... And there's also the fact that there's just simple, fundamental lack of sort of filmmaking standards that The Predator doesn't even adhere to. Like the whole thing where like all the main... all these military veteran characters are sitting in this bus, which is in like this random location, and it keeps cutting between that and this laboratory where they are holding this fugitive predator. And it's not until this predator escapes that the movie decides to even establish that these two locations are in fact the same location. Like I remember seeing the movie in the theater and going, "What? What? What?" It's just... Yeah. The Predator, like, to me is like one of the all-time worst movie sequels. So, how intelligent are predators? They're usually depicted, at least in some media, as being pretty intelligent. I think it depends on the quality of the writers writing the stories. But then again, there's some exceptions made to where, like, there's this comic book story called Bad Blood, which focuses on a psychopathic predator who's literally called a bad blood. He's basically the equivalent of, like, a serial killer within, like, the Yautja society. And he lands on Earth and he just kills anyone. Like, it doesn't matter if it's somebody who is armed and, like, an actual combatant. He just kills anyone. Women, children, old people, animals. He just wants to kill, kill, kill. So there are definitely examples of, like, mentally deranged Yautja throughout many of the stories. Are there any questions that I missed? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. So, thoughts on each fan cast idea. Wayne Knight as Toyman. Ooh. I think that could work. I think that could work pretty well, actually. If it's sort of the classic portrayal of Toyman as kind of like this this disturbed guy with, like, little T-shade glasses and stuff. Idris Elba as Jon Stewart / Green Lantern. That could work pretty well. Only problem is, like, Idris Elba is already playing Bloodsport in the DC movies, so they probably have to get a different actor for Jon Stewart. Clint Eastwood as Jonah Hex. Yes, I approve of that casting choice very much. Ava Green as Cersei. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I think she would do very well. She would definitely bring the sex appeal for Cersei. Bruce Lee as Karate Kid. I don't know very much about that character. So, well, hang on. Did Bruce Lee know karate? Because, like, I thought he was mainly, his whole thing was, like, Kung Fu, Wing Chun, Jeet Kune Do, all that kind of stuff. I mean, did he practice karate? Because I would think with a character named Karate Kid, you would want an actor who knows karate. Wait, so predators have independent personalities? Yeah, dude. No, dude. No. Predators are not dumb. No, like, predators are sentient beings. Like, they are an intelligent, sentient species, just like humans. They're not animals at all. Like, they can reason, they're self-aware, they make sort of judgments and decisions. Like, they've got a political structure, they've got an entire they've got an entire culture to them. No, Yautja are very much an intelligent, sentient species, which I like, which I think makes them very unique among various other sort of antagonistic alien creatures of sci-fi. Versus question, Yautja versus the Covenant from Halo. Which Covenant race exactly? Like, all of them? Because if that's the case, my money would probably be on the Covenant. Unless we're dealing with some super badass Yautja. Because it would take a lot to fight against, like, the hunters and the brutes and stuff. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know. I think if they were waging, so I guess if the Yautja were like waging a war, I guess it would probably be an even fight because there are some books. I've read a couple of novels where the predators like literally wage war. You know, they quit doing the whole like trophy hunting game, and they are fucking scary when they wage war. Like they pull no punches. So I don't know. It's very possible the Covenant could have their hands full. Let's see. What if Brainiac shrunk and stole Yautja Prime, the Predator homeworld? While doing so, he comes face to face with the Grand Elder who wins. Who wins, Brainiac or the Grand Elder? The Grand Elder, I'm not sure I'm familiar with that character. I would originally pick Shang-Chi for Bruce Lee. I mean, that makes sense. Shang-Chi was based off of Bruce Lee, so that's one thing that the MCU Shang-Chi movie got very wrong. It's like that actor did not emulate Bruce Lee whatsoever. I find that incredibly strange. Like why would you adapt a comic book character who was based on a specific actor and cast an actor and you tell him not to emulate that actor that the character was based on? That's just really bizarre to me. But yeah, tributes to fiction. Yeah, predators are sentient, intelligent beings. Got my cat with me. R.I.P. Raquel. Wait, Raquel Welch? She passed away? No, dude, what? Hang on. Wow. That's crazy. Damn. I had no idea she passed away. Damn. That's unfortunate. Rest in peace. Man. I can't. I think I've seen her in a few things. I know she was in. Oh yeah, I saw her in. She was in Fantastic Voyage. She was in probably a bunch of other things that I've seen that my dad probably introduced me to. I know she was in 1 Million Years BC, which, I mean, no insult to her, but I watch that movie more for the Ray Harryhausen dinosaurs than actually seeing her. But yeah, that's a shame. Hopefully she passed peacefully. Nick Sanders, good to see you, man. Do you prefer the lore where the Yautja are advanced and make their own tech and may have even taught early humans, or the newer lore where the Yautja are kind of written to be tech scavengers? I think probably the one where they make their own tech. I don't like the idea of them just using tech from other races. The MCU sucks. It's past its prime. Yeah? Hard to argue with that. Oh, speaking of which, have any of you seen that? Have any of you seen that trailer for The Flash? I haven't seen it, but my roommate told me about it. Apparently, they're trying to do like a Spider-Man No Way Home thing with Batman, where it's like they try to bring in a bunch of the old Batman actors together. Can anyone confirm that? Because I haven't watched that trailer at all. Why did the good Predator kill so many humans in his mission to save humans? Not sure what you're talking about there, Candlestick. Are you talking about from the Predator, like the fugitive Predator? Is that what you're referring to? Because I can probably answer that. I can just say that was just dog shit writing. That would be my explanation for that. Ah, okay, so you were referring to the Predator, yeah. Just atrocious writing. That's the answer to that question. That would be it. The new Flash movie seems to be doing a very loose Flashpoint adaptation. Why? Why would you... Why? You have seen the trailer. I don't have the feeling with the No Way Home feel for Batman, but if that's true, then of course. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely possible. My question is, why is Batman in a Flash movie? I don't go to a Flash movie to see Batman. I go to see The Flash. It's just... I don't understand the logic that DC is operating with. Christian Bale Batman is rumored to be. Of course he is. My roommate said that, like, the Michael Keaton's Batman also shows up. They want to reboot into the new James Gunn continuity with an excuse of a universe shift to keep some actors. Yeah, that's sad, man. I would think with a movie about the Flash that there would be, I don't know, maybe you'd have Central City, Iris West would be there, maybe you could have the Rogues or Gorilla Grodd. I wouldn't go to see Batman. I would go to a Batman movie. Not watching The Flash because of Ezra Miller. That's probably a good thing. Because my God, Ezra Miller. Holy shit. That feeling when you get a real life psychopaths playing your superheroes. Flash movie's been in development hell since the 80s. Yeah. Yep. It has indeed. I think... I might be mistaken, but I think maybe one attempt to actually get that Flash movie off the ground resulted in the live-action TV show. Can anyone confirm that? I mean, I could be mistaken, but it wouldn't be surprising if that was the case. I have a lot of reasons to not watch it. Ezra is one of those reasons. Yeah. In addition to the fact that, like, the priorities with the creative decisions they're making seem to be just completely out of whack. There's also the fact that if you go to see it, you would be basically financially supporting a guy who kidnaps underage girls and, like, holds them hostage and shit. So yeah, I don't foresee that Flash movie making a whole lot of money. Oh, okay. Ezra Miller getting into a lot of bad things. They had to use Batman to get people to go see because Ezra Miller won't sell the film. Okay, that actually makes sense. I still think that's a bad creative decision for the film, but that makes sense. Because I guess having Batman there would distract people from the fact that they're watching a guy playing the Flash who is like a serial abductor. Just yikes. Yikes all around concerning Ezra Miller. But I do notice that seems to be like a thing that's recurring with the DC films. Because, like, I know Black Adam came out, and it felt like the marketing around that film was centered almost more so on, like, the Justice Society characters than Black Adam himself. It's like, are they not confident in the character of Black Adam to actually sell the movie? Superman's getting rebooted. Do you want a new villain that's not Luthor still? Yes. Very much so. Not Luthor, and also not Zod. Because we've had Zod plenty of times already. I'm still a proponent of the idea that Superman's Rogues Gallery still needs exposure. I've been saying that basically ever since I started my channel, and I'm still saying that even to this day. How would you do a DC universe, and would you give Martian Manhunter his own film, or would he just appear in Justice League? Would you have Starro as the first villain? I think Martian Manhunter could work in his own solo film. I think he's more than interesting enough as a character, I think, to carry his own solo film. So, if I were to do a DC universe, that's a hell of a question. I think maybe I would probably take my time a lot more building up to a Justice League film. And one thing I would do is that the versions of the characters I would portray would be sort of more classic and more, I guess, more recognizable to sort of longtime fans rather than just trying to replicate what's going on in, like, the current comics, because that seems to be a very common trend. because like the Justice League film having Cyborg, that was done because like when that film script was being written, the New 52 was big, and the New 52's version of the Justice League had Cyborg in it. That's also why the Shazam film had like a superpowered version of Dr. Sivana's, because that film was greenlit when like the New 52 version of Shazam with a superpowered Dr. Sivana, that was still a thing in the comic books at that time. Okay, there's a bunch of comments I've missed that I need to read. So, Fancast idea 2, Scott Adkins as David Kane. Ooh, that could work very well. I think Scott Adkins is definitely at the right age to play David Kane as well, because if I remember, David Kane's supposed to be kind of an older character. Tim Allen as Adam Strange? I don't know about that, because he was the voice of Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, I get that, but I think Tim Allen would probably have to get into really good shape first, because he's mainly a comedy actor. I don't think he's ever been in any action films. Let's see. Michelle Yeoh is Lady Shiva. I think in her younger years she could definitely pull off Lady Shiva. Brock Lesnar is Doomsday for motion capture. Okay. Yeah, that could be interesting. Brock Lesnar definitely has the size and physique. 616 man, hello. Oh wait, you've been in my chat. Sorry, dude. I'm just now seeing your name. Yeah, the original Green Lantern movie creators were setting up the original DC movie universe similar to the Marvel movie universe. Yeah, like it's my understanding that all of the it's my understanding that like the entire movie lineup was planned like over a decade ago, I think. So after Green Lantern, Flash movie was next, but Green Lantern failed at the box office. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because the Green Lantern movie had it had Amanda Waller in it. I remember that. And I think it also sort of referenced a couple other big DC Universe things. Wish Superman and Stark would both get their rogues galleries exposed. Yeah, I wish so too. Kind of unfortunate we haven't gotten an Iron Man movie with like Blizzard or Crimson Dynamo. The Green Lantern movie creators got kicked to TV after Green Lantern and went on to create the DC TV universe on CW. Really? I didn't know that. Until that universe sucked itself dry. Well, I mean actors and actresses in their prime. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that, Neozoic. All right. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting that the Green Lantern creators went on and made like the Arrowverse CW shows, because I think there was definitely a point in time where those shows were doing pretty well in terms of writing and stuff. I thought the first couple seasons of Arrow were not too bad. I think there was some pretty strong writing in those first couple seasons. Thought the first season of The Flash was all right. But yeah, I think for a rebooted Superman film, I'd probably go with someone. I go with these characters all the time, but like Metallo, Parasite, maybe Hank Henshaw. Although Hank Henshaw's got a little bit of history to him, so I would probably build up to him over the course of maybe one or two movies. During the time of the Green Lantern movie, WB/DC wanted to follow the Marvel Phase 1 formula: Green Lantern, Flash, Wonder Woman, Superman reboot, and a possible Hawkman movie. Oh, okay. I think a Hawkman movie could be cool. I think they would shoot for maybe like a Mummy slash Indiana Jones type tone. I think a Hawkman movie would work really well. How do you imagine the Yautja culture on their homeworld? Probably, I would imagine it's kind of like a meritocracy or something, because I know for a fact, through a bunch of stories I've read, that the way that they ascend and the way that they sort of gain prestige and honor and like high ranks and high ranking privileges is through their skill at the hunt. Would the Thanagarians last against the Predators? I think if it's Predators trophy hunting, they might have a hard time. But I think Predators waging war, there's no telling. Because like I said before, when Predators go to war, a lot changes. Like they don't fuck around the way they do on their trophy hunts when they're at war. Like they get very, very, very serious. Also, I think with maybe a force like the Thanagarians, I could see sort of units of Yautja sort of cloaking themselves in like big forested areas, kind of forcing the Thanagarians to fly low so they don't get like stuck on like tree limbs and stuff like that. Oh. Garrett Hedlund as the Flash, Barry Allen and Glenn Powell as Green Lantern, and Kobe Smulders as Wonder Woman. The only one of those actors I recognize is Kobe Smulders. I know she's Maria Hill in the MCU. Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa as Mandarin. Yeah, I think that would work really well. The guy they got to play Mandarin in Shang-Chi, Tony Leung, not entirely sure how you pronounce his last name, but I've seen him in a bunch of Chinese language films, and I think for a more accurate Mandarin, I think he could have done a really good job. That's just not the direction they chose to go with his character, unfortunately. Gina Carano as Artemis. Yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see her playing an Amazon character. In 2011, 2012, WB/DC wanted a Justice League movie rushed out in 2013 or 2015 release to compete with Avengers 2. Jesus. Holy shit. DC, they don't know how to take their time, man. Good lord. I mean, that's what Marvel did. They didn't rush straight into a damn Avengers film. They had Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and then Thor. Oh, wait. No, wait. There's the first Hulk movie, and then there was Iron Man 1, then Iron Man 2, and then Thor, and then Captain America, and then there was Avengers. So there was they made 4 movies. Do you think the Yautja possessed time travel tech? I'm going to go with no. Some lore around the Lost Tribe from Predator 2 seems to flirt. No. The Yautja don't time travel. They live insanely long lives. That's why they have items and weapons from old time periods. Yautja have a lifespan of I think roughly over 1,000 years. They have ridiculously long lifespans. That's why that's why that one elder from Predator 2 had that flintlock gun. There was a whole comic book story arc that actually explained how he got that gun. And then Prey comes out, and it completely retcons that whole story. Because the main character in that movie gets the flintlock gun, which inadvertently basically dooms her to death because that gun has to end up in the hands of the Predators at some point. So that Prey movie was basically saying, yeah, I guess the Predators come and they slaughter this entire Native American tribe. But yeah, Predators don't have time travel tech. They just have... They live ridiculously long lives. Late 2000s, early 2010s, WB/DC was also trying to do a Green Arrow movie by David Goyer called Green Arrow Escape from Supermax. It was going to set up a universe with Amanda Waller, prison of supervillains. Interesting. That's interesting. I would actually like to see a live-action Green Arrow movie still, if it's done well. I would say that I think Alan Tudyk, he did the voice of Green Arrow in the Injustice games. I would say if he was a bit younger, I think he would make a really good Oliver Queen. What would 616 Iron Man think of Lex Luthor? I don't have a very nice answer to that question. I mean, if Civil War and Dark Reign are anything to go by, I think Tony Stark and Lex Luthor might get along pretty well. Because if my knowledge of those Marvel events is accurate, Tony Stark and Norman Osborn, they got along fairly well, and I think if there's any character in the Marvel universe who is similar to Lex Luthor, it's Norman Osborn. I mean, that's assuming, of course, we are going with sort of the Civil War era Tony Stark. Because if that's the case, then yeah, I don't think he and Luthor would very much be at odds with each other. But then again, there are sort of examples of ultra-rich characters in the DC universe who sort of play nice with Luthor as sort of a way of putting on a public face. I mean, you see that with like whenever Bruce Wayne is like interacting with Luthor, they kind of pretend to be friends just for good publicity, which I think is an interesting story aspect in some comic book storylines that gets explored. In World's Most Wanted, Prelude to Dark Reign, Tony uploaded the database of the hero's secret identities and was erasing it slowly from his mind. He was on the run from Osborn. Oh, okay. So I guess Stark and Osborn didn't get along as well as I thought. Fair enough. Fancast Idea 3, Michael J. White as Bronze Tiger. Very good choice. Jean-Claude Van Damme as Richard Dragon. Ooh. That is a very interesting choice. I think with a good fight choreographer, which, in my opinion, Van Damme doesn't have a whole lot of the time, I think he could pull off Richard Dragon pretty well. Patrick Warburton as Guy Gardner. Okay. Yeah, I think he could pull off the comedic moments pretty well. Audrey Hepburn as Lois Lane. I could kind of see that. I think that would actually that would not be a bad choice. Although I think Audrey Hepburn would definitely be a softer, warmer Lois Lane than a lot of other portrayals. I mean, that's not to say Audrey Hepburn can't be sassy and, can't be vicious when she needs to, because she definitely can, but that's not exactly what she's known for. Michael J. Fox as Jimmy Olsen. Wow. That's actually a pretty good choice. Let's see. Movie writer Beale, his Justice League 2015 movie script. Everything Snyder wanted to do, but in one film, Justice League failing to stop a dark, injustice-styled future with Darkseid taking over. Wow. Yeah, Michael J. White was Bronze Tiger. Unfortunately, you didn't get to see very much of him. I was also disappointed that he didn't have the tiger mask that he wears sometimes in the comics, because I like it when Bronze Tiger actually has a tiger mask. Going to have Audrey Hepburn as either Zatanna or Catwoman. That's interesting, because I'm pretty sure there are some artists who have definitely modeled Catwoman's face after Audrey Hepburn. So that would be fitting. Adaptations water down the comic source material too much. Yeah, that definitely is the case a lot of the times. That's not unique to comics, though. That's adaptations of basically anything. Because, I mean, the watering down is, you know, in some ways, in some contexts, watering down is necessary because movies can only be so long. You know, there's only so much you can fit into like a 2-hour runtime. So that's the sad truth. Even when you're doing TV shows, there's still a pretty substantial amount that has to be excised. Favorite scene from Stage Fright? Oh, you mean Stage Fright as in the Italian movie? The the 80s Italian horror movie with the killer with the owl mask? That Stage Fright? Dude, that movie's awesome. I love that film. That movie's super, super underrated. Who are your top 5 DC heroes? I know you like Green Arrow, but who else? Okay. Let me think. The one with the killer owl mask. Oh, yeah, dude. I love that movie. Oh. And I know my favorite scene from that film, too. Without a doubt, my favorite scene from that film is the one where the killer is just, he's sitting on the stage and you see the feathers fluttering about and he has all the corpses like posed and you hear that classical music just booming in the background and the movie just slows down in that moment. It's such an amazing atmosphere, and it's so cool. It's so artistic. It's such a memorable scene from that film, and I love it when movies do stuff like that. That's not entirely necessary, but they just take a moment to sort of just bask in the ambiance a bit. You know, he's just chilling on the couch. He's got the cat on his lap. You know, all the other corpses are just sort of posed in a very specific way. You got that intense sort of dooming like choir in the background. You see all the feathers fluttering about. All the while, the female lead, she's underneath the floorboard. She's trying to get that key without getting his attention. It's beautiful. I love that scene. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Anyways, sorry, let me get back to this other question from Tributes. Who are your top 5 DC heroes? I know you like Green Arrow, but who else? Let me think. So, I guess Green Arrow would be 1. Etrigan the Demon, that would be 2. I think Nightwing would be number 3. Who else? Nightwing, Etrigan, Green Arrow. Oh, John Constantine. John Constantine would definitely be 4. Who else? Number 5, I'd probably go with maybe Swamp Thing. I really like those. I really like the dark fantasy sort of monster characters from DC a lot. I think that's one area of the DC universe I'm really, really into. Will Beall, Justice League movie script, also had Snyder's Flashpoint time travel gimmick in the script. Flash stops the edgy Darkseid future from happening. Wow. This sounds. Wait. This kind of sounds like what's being planned right now with this upcoming Flash movie. Because, I mean, you said that it was sort of a loose adaptation of Flashpoint, right? I don't know. Brought together to a dense jungle, a mercenary Deadshot and a group known as the Suicide Squad become the prey. A new breed of aliens pursues. Oh, Suicide Squad versus the Predators. That would be cool. I think that would be a way better Predator DC crossover than that one god awful like Superman Batman comic that got made. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but there was actually a Superman and Batman versus Aliens and Predator comic that was made. And the plot does not involve Superman and Batman fighting the Xenomorphs and the Yautja, but it involves them saving them. Because you got aliens and predators, they're fighting inside like an erupting volcano, and Superman and Batman are trying to rescue them. I wish I was making that up. Literally, they are innocent bystanders that the two heroes have to save. You know, just bear in mind that these creatures that they are rescuing, they burrow inside of the bodies of living beings and birth themselves in deadly, traumatic ways. That's just one of them. The other one fucking hunts people, skins them alive, hangs them upside down, and rips their skulls and vertebrae from their bodies to collect as trophies. I guess Bruce and Clark took brain damage pills. Yeah, pretty much. There's actually a video about this too. There's this YouTube channel called Alpha Rookie. They've done like this really sort of comprehensive retrospective on like all of the Alien and Predator comics that have ever been made. At least from Dark Horse, anyways. I should clarify that were made by Dark Horse. And they cover those really bizarre fucking DC crossovers with Alien and Predator as well. So, if you want to learn more about those comics, then definitely check out that channel. The channel is called Alpha Rookie. They've made really good videos on the topic. Let's see. WB/DC wanted to do Batman Beyond multiple times. Doesn't that have to be built up? Honestly, at this point, I don't think Batman Beyond necessarily has to be built up to. I think the public consciousness knows more than well enough about Batman at this point that I think everyone knows enough about Batman at this point that you can make a Batman Beyond film that's not tied to the continuity of any other Batman film. It could be completely its own universe, and I think people will be cool with that. Last fan cast idea, because I don't want to overwhelm you. Brendan Fraser as Ted Kord / Blue Beetle. That, yeah, I think I could see that. Robert De Niro as Carmine Falcone. Oh, Marlon Brando as Kingpin. Wouldn't Marlon Brando be better as Falcone, since since that's literally who Frank Miller modeled Falcone after. Like, I'm pretty sure if you read Year One and The Long Halloween, when you see Falcone, like, he's got the white hair and he's got the little mustache. Like, he's a dead ringer for Marlon Brando. So Marlon Brando's, now that I think about it, I think if you took like Marlon Brando from Apocalypse Now, yeah, I think Brando could be good as Kingpin too. Because, Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now, with his bald head and his fucking massive girth, he definitely could pull off being the Kingpin. So yeah, cast Marlon Brando as Falcone and Kingpin. Robert De Niro, though? You know what? I could see Robert De Niro as Bruno Mannheim, maybe. Because I could definitely see De Niro as sort of negotiating a deal with Darkseid to get weapons from, like, Apocalypse or something. Why not a Green Lantern / Alien or Green Lantern / Predator crossover? There was a Green Lantern / Aliens crossover. There hasn't been one with Predators. The Green Lantern / Alien story was centered around Kyle Rayner, if memory serves. And like the main conflict of that story was that Kyle Rayner didn't want to kill any of the xenomorphs because he's a superhero and superheroes don't kill, which is absolutely idiotic when you seriously stop to think about it, because Green Lanterns are space cops. Think about that. They are space cops, meaning that they are entitled to using lethal force. So Kyle Rayner should have absolutely no qualms about killing xenomorphs. Hope the fancast idea didn't overwhelm you. Nah, dude. I like your fancast comments. I think they're a good little brain exercise. But yeah, Marlon Brando, at least I think if you took 1971 Marlon Brando and cast him as Carmine Falcone, that would be perfect. Have you seen the Batman Gotham by Gaslight movie? No, I haven't. I did read the comic. I thought the comic was really good. I have not seen the movie. To be perfectly honest, I've been really disappointed by the animated DC Batman movies as of late. Just because of the absolutely ridiculous changes they made. I think the last one I watched was the animated Batman Hush movie. There were so many changes they made that just did not make any sense to me. I kind of hated the Batman Hush film, if I'm being completely honest. Opinions on 1984, the novel, and the movie. I haven't read the novel in I don't know how long. I think the last time I read the 1984 novel was in high school. I remember liking it. I really liked the movie, although some people tell me that the movie departs very heavily from the novel, but some people really hate the movie because of that, which is fair, but I enjoyed the movie. I really liked the look of the movie. The cinematography was fantastic. Because, well, for one thing, the movie was shot by none other than Roger Deakins. That was one of his early films. Yeah, the Roger Deakins, you know, guy that filmed Sicario and like Skyfall and a bunch of other movies that you love. And I thought John Hurt was fantastic in the role. WB/DC in the late 2000s, early 2010s, they wanted a Plastic Man movie, but also feature him in the 2015 Justice League movie as a comedic relief character for the universe. Edgy, dark, and gritty tone influence. Wait, so they wanted a Nolan-style gritty tone, but they also wanted Plastic Man in there? I'm not... That doesn't make much sense to me, but okay. I saw a movie called Highlander for the first time. Wait, a movie called Highlander? Are you talking about the original Highlander with Sean Connery and Christopher Lambert and Clancy Brown? There can be only one! That Highlander? I love that film, dude. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Here we are, born to be kings. I love that Queen song. Who wants to live forever? Yeah, dude, I love Highlander. Fantastic movie. The only one worth watching. The original Highlander is probably the only one worth watching. How would Dr. Loomis perceive Jason Voorhees? That's an interesting question. I'm guessing that if Dr. Loomis existed in the Friday the 13th universe, that he would probably have a lot more to say about Jason's parentage. Because you gotta think, in the Halloween movies, Michael Myers, at least if you're following the original Halloween movies, Michael Myers had a pretty normal family. He wasn't abused or anything. You know, once again, talking about the originals, not the Rob Zombie films. But Jason Voorhees is kind of a different case because, although this isn't mentioned in any of the films, there are comic series that reveal that Jason had a really abusive father, and that his father actually beat his mother while she was pregnant, and that may have which may have been the cause of Jason like being as deformed and like mentally deficient as he was. So that's a really interesting bit of information. So as for how Dr. Loomis would perceive Jason, I imagine he would probably have the same type of things he would say about Michael Myers. But then again, I think he'd probably be smart enough to see that you could probably reason with Jason. Because, I mean, that has happened in the movies before. You know, in part 2, you had that one girl put on his mother's sweater and, like, talk him down and get him to calm himself. So maybe that's what Loomis would suggest. I remember when the Batman Hush comic was trying to push the idea that Jason Todd was Hush. Yeah, that was a red herring. Like in the story of the comic, that was actually a red herring. that part of the comic was actually more setting up the Under the Red Hood story, because that whole part of the comic where, like, because that was Clay, you gotta remember, that was Clayface who was impersonating Jason during that whole, like, graveyard fight. And what that scene was supposed to reveal was that Clayface had actually seen Jason, which means that Jason was actually alive. So there was that whole plot thread that was dangling, and Under the Red Hood was the story that followed Hush, and of course revealed that Jason was still alive. So it wasn't trying to push the idea that Jason was Hush. I mean, it was, during that particular scene, it was trying to make you think that Jason was Hush, until you see him, like, sort of disintegrate, because it turns out it was actually Clayface the whole time. Yeah, WB/DC originally wanted the Nolanverse connected to the DC movie universe, with Nolan's Robin mashed up character John Blake as Batman. Wait, they were gonna have Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character as Batman and not, like, Robin or Nightwing? Okay. They said they would bring Bale back, but if he said no, they would just recast him. Oh. Wow. That's interesting, considering I'm pretty sure Nolan did not want his Batman movies to ever sort of expand into a wider DC movie universe. I'm pretty sure he wanted them pretty much exclusively self-contained. Which one is more annoying or tiresome? Dark, super serious, or very lighthearted? A lot of comedy comic book movies. I think that categorizing comic book movies as being like lighthearted, jokey, or dark, super serious, I think that may be a bit of a shallow analysis. I think the more serious problem is just the lack of sincerity in applying either of those tones. It's the lack of seriously, passionately wanting to make the stories appropriate for those tones. Because, like, when you have moments in, like, the Batman vs. Superman movie where, like, you have Batman branding people, and you have Lex Luthor showing Superman photos of, like, his mom's face after she just got beaten up, and she looks like her face has been, like, all carved up, and he's fucking having an emotional breakdown, threatening to fucking blast a hole in Lex's chest. And then you have little scenes where, like, Batman and Martha Kent are having that little joke where it's like, I'm a friend of your son, and then she's like, I figured, with the cape and all that. Those stick out like such a sore thumb. And it's so insincere because it's not consistent with the tone they are going with. I think I hate that. That's one of the things I hate the most about poorly made pieces of media, is the lack of dedication to a certain tone. If that makes any sense. Let's see. Probably missed a lot. Let's see. Did you think Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character from Dark Knight Rises should have been Dick Grayson? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think that making him Dick Grayson or Jason Todd, or here's a better idea, since he's a character who, admired Batman and actually figured out his identity, maybe he should have been Tim Drake. Because that would be consistent with Tim Drake. Because that's what Tim Drake did. He admired and he looked up to Batman, and through his own intellect and his own digging and research, he pieced together that Batman was Bruce Wayne. So, if at the end of the movie it turned out that John Blake's real name was Tim Drake, that would have made sense. But no, they had to do the thing where your real name is Robin, because they think audiences are retarded, because audiences know the name Robin. They might not necessarily know the name Dick Grayson or Tim Drake. So yeah, that's one of the many issues of Dark Knight Rises. Have you seen Stranger Things? Who would win in a fight? Carrie versus 11. Ooh. I'd probably have to go with 11, because I saw the first season of Stranger Things. 11 was pretty damn fucking powerful. Nolan was pissed at WB/DC trying to set his Nolanverse Batman stuff in the DC movie universe. Yeah, I can imagine. I can definitely imagine. Because, I'm pretty sure Nolan was clear from the very start that he wanted his Batman movies to just be their own strict thing. How do you feel about Yautja using cybernetics? Old writers tried to establish the risk computer, and Gauntlet were implants. It also came back around with the assassin spike tail. I think that could be an interesting thing, having cyborg Yautja in some stories, but I do like the idea more of predators mainly getting by their own honed natural skills, and their technology sort of enhancing those skills. But there have been stories with cyborg predators that I thought were done well. That video game Predator Concrete Jungle, there were fights with cybernetic predators, and I thought that game's story was not too bad. I liked the story to that game. It was written by Grant Morrison, of all people. Definitely one of the better stories he's written, in my honest opinion, because I'm not a huge fan of Grant Morrison. Ryan Gosling and Chris Pine were both in the running for Barry Allen in late 2000s, early 2010s. First season of the Flash movie was supposed to be the plot. Are you talking about the first season of the CW Flash? Yautja versus Manhunters from the Green Lantern comic. Ooh. So having the Yautja fighting powerful robots. That would be interesting. I'm not sure. In some of the NECA bio, cyborg preds seem to be looked down upon and seem to always be bad bloods, like in Concrete Jungle. Well, so that's not entirely true, because from what I recall, the cyborg predators in Concrete Jungle were actually kidnapped by that game's main villain and experimented on. Because you gotta remember, in that game, the main character predator, Scarface, I believe his name is, he basically fucks up a big hunt in 1930s, this one 1930s city, and he sets off his suicide bomb, and he lives through it. But the problem is he leaves behind a bunch of Yautja technology that this one wealthy sort of aristocrat family called the Borgias take advantage of. So the next time any other predators come hunting in that city, they get kidnapped and they get experimented on and they get killed because like the city's law enforcement are supplied with like super advanced Yautja technology. So at least in that game's story, the cyborg predators were not bad bloods. I'm sure probably in some other pieces of media they probably were bad bloods. Holy shit. Been running for an hour and 30 minutes. Wow. I think in about 10 minutes I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful all you guys showed up and been asking me the questions you have. Yeah, the first season of the CW Flash show by the Green Lantern movie creators was the plot of the Flash movie. Oh, okay. Well, shit. If that's the case, that movie probably could have been pretty good. Because I thought the first season of the Flash show where it was like that one doctor guy, he was kind of pulling like an Emperor Palpatine where he was pretending to be a good guy, but he was like secretly scheming, you know, behind everybody's back. And it turns out he was the Reverse Flash the whole time. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really cool storytelling touch to the first season of The Flash. That would have been cool to see in a movie, too. Or possibly multiple movies. Actually, that probably would have been a good like cliffhanger reveal for like the first movie. You find out this doctor guy was actually Reverse Flash the whole time and nobody knows. Sadly, everyone, I have to go. I hope to see you guys in the next stream in the future. Take care, FW Waller. Yeah, Neozoic, you take care too, man. It was great having you here. Thank you for showing up and participating. Keep up the good work. I'll try. Nightwing and Arsenal and Tempest got tickets to Camp Crystal Lake. Oracle gives Nightwing information about Jason Voorhees. Could Nightwing, Arsenal, and Tempest save the teenagers? Wow. Wow. What a premise. I think you would need Tempest. I'm not familiar with that character. I know Nightwing doesn't have any powers. Arsenal doesn't have any powers. So I don't think they'd be able to do much against Jason Voorhees. But Tempest, I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure who that character is. Do you take recommendations for movies? I'd like to see you tackle the original Terminator. Actually, it's funny you say that because I have an idea for a video concerning the original Terminator. It's not like going to be this sprawling, super long analysis, but I do want to analyze one of the scenes from the original Terminator, analyze the filmmaking of that particular scene. I was really wanting to make a video outlining the techniques used during like the police station shootout scene from the first Terminator, because I think there's a lot of amazing stuff in that scene that I haven't seen very many other people ever sort of analyze or mention. So yeah, dude, I think that's definitely I think that'll definitely be on my to-do list for sure, since you asked. I mean, I was thinking about doing that anyways, so yeah, for sure. Iron Man 2 was supposed to have Crimson Dynamo. Yeah, Yep, and Ghost using more elements of Armor Wars. Yeah, Iron Man 2 kind of tried to do a bit too much. Tried to have that whole storyline with Whiplash. Also tried to did a very botched attempt at adapting Demon in the Bottle as well. Iron Man 2 video game had a lot of that in it. Yeah, it's a shame the Iron Man 2 video game was so shitty. God, that game was awful. I actually played the video game for the first Iron Man movie. I didn't think it was too bad. I enjoyed it, but the second movie game, good lord, it was rough. Ugh. It's kind of interesting how the MCU tie-in games sort of petered out after a while, because there were the two Iron Man movie games, there was the Incredible Hulk game, there was a Thor game, there was the Captain America game, which in my opinion was the best one out of the whole bunch. That Captain America game was really fun. I had a blast playing that game. It was mainly due to the combat. The combat was really fun. You know, even if it was pretty similar to the Arkham combat. But yeah, if memory serves, I think that they quit making the MCU tie-in games because there was going to be a game tie-in for the Avengers, and that got canceled. And the Avengers film came out, and I guess Marvel Studios decided they didn't need video game tie-ins anymore. Alright, what time are we at now? I think I'm going to close the stream out when it gets to like an hour and 40 minutes, so probably about 3 minutes from now. Yeah, it's been a really good stream, guys. Tempest is Aquaman's sidekick. Called himself that when he quit being Aqualad. Oh, okay. I'm not sure how useful that would be, considering you gotta think, Jason gets imprisoned in water a lot, and that never seems to stop him. I mean, he supposedly died by drowning, so I don't know. Maybe Tempest could maybe trigger some like PTSD reactions from Jason or something. Jon Favreau wanted to set up Mandarin for the third film. Yep. Yep. Marvel movies didn't believe in the idea of magic versus technology. See, yeah, but that's something everyone gets wrong about the Mandarin, is that he doesn't use magic. Like, his 10 rings that he uses are alien technology. But the thing is, he sort of perpetuates this facade that the things that the 10 rings allow him to do are magic, but they're not magic. You know, he condensed like a bunch of alien weapons that he got from like a crashed alien spaceship. So, I don't know why Marvel Studios bought into the whole magic thing, because the Mandarin doesn't use magic. Mandy from Grim Adventures, Billy and Mandy pisses off Eric Cartman and Stewie Griffin. If they team up, is there anything they can do to make her suffer? I guess Cartman could force Mandy to like eat her parents' like ground up remains, I guess. But then again, I don't know if that would even affect her. Okay. All right. I think that's it for the questions. It's an hour and 40 minutes, guys. I'm going to end the stream here, but it's been a good stream. Thank you guys for your questions. Marvel screwed up the Mandarin. Yes, they did. 100% agreed. Appreciate you affirming that very much. Thanks, guys. Thank you for the conversation, the questions, all that stuff. And tributes to fiction, definitely. That Terminator video is definitely going to happen. Especially now that you said it. I mean, I was pondering that idea in my head, but I'm glad you said something because it's a certainty now. So, all right. I'm going to end it now. Thank you guys. You all take care. Have a good night. See ya.